Good morning, freedom fighters. It is 9:07 a.m. East Coast time, December 5th, 2025. We're looking over the state of Florida on live Zoom Earth. Very unusual boundary. I don't quite understand. You can already see the massive chemtrail operation that's going to be taking place today. All of these are jet trails, but where I want to bring your attention to is the Pacific Ocean. Very large geoengineering operation with ships and aircraft. You can see the individual aircraft trails that's taking place this morning offshore of San Francisco and Los Angeles. But what I want to concentrate on is these dozen ships here that is pumping out material. These are geoengineering supertankers. One, two, three, four. Might be the same one here. Four, five, six. That's the seventh one going the opposite way. Here's number eight. Probably a dozen or so super tankers with massive amount of material on board that they can pump out for hours. So let's go back 7, 8 hours, 9 hours, 7 hours. And you can see where these machines started releasing this material. Let's bump it ahead slowly. Ships can go on average about 15 to 20 knots, depending on their power source. You can see where multiple ships are releasing this material. Zoom out a little bit more here. Bump it ahead. You can really see how these ships are just slowly creeping along, whether it's 20 miles an hour or whatever. It's very slow compared to the aircraft that is also spraying at this moment. I just want to bring it to people's attention. A couple hundred of you, whoever. I just don't want to be alone in this knowledge. But these are tank. You can see one going this way. Let's zoom in on him. Back it up 1 hour. You can see these ships are crossing paths. They can see each other very well. And we wonder why our entire ocean is clouded over. And the reason I believe I can see it here better than I can see the ones here is temperature. Hot air coming out, it becomes foggy. And it shows up blue. I don't know. It's just different in the Pacific. The temperatures are totally different than the Atlantic, much colder water. But our entire oceans are clouded over. That is not good, my friends. Oh, we do get oxygen from trees, but most of our oxygen comes from the ocean. And if they killed my ocean off, we will lose all life on this planet quicker than they ever could imagine with just the poisoning. While the rest of the country is in a deep freeze, we have been extremely warm. Haven't had any rain in, I'll say, months in my location. I'm bounced right back up. I need cooler weather. I need normal winters. And Bay News 9 stated we were going to have a warmer and drier winter than average. These people need to be arrested, my friends. They need to be arrested. While the world is in the United States is in a deep freeze, we're warm, and it's destroying my winter fisheries, man. We had a lot of fish around at the 1st of November when they gave us that extreme cold air. This is killing me. I might as well just sell my boat. I'm going to get my captain's license and I'm going to start running boats for the oil company, people I never wanted to work for, but I have no choice. Very soon I'm going to go after my captain's license as soon as I get the funds up for it. I think it was right around $800. Usually that would be nothing, but they've destroyed my industry so much. When they bought Alaska and gave us pennies per pound that we used to get $1.15 for, that destroyed me. And then losing Florida fisher, it's just a double-edged sword going on here. Quite a bit of energy coming out of some of the next rads. It's just eliminating the rain, I guess. I don't even know what to call it anymore. We had some rain coming, but it didn't make it. Wendy.com has become garbage. They got our little thing broken up so much you can't see anything. I got to completely unsubscribe to them, quit paying for it. It's garbage now. They don't want us to see anything. So manipulated. It's just completely garbage. Zoom Earth is the only one that's any good, and you can see the crisscross patterns going on. They love the X. For the ones that didn't see yesterday's video and the Fallout video, I'm going to share that with you right now. Stand by. This is yesterday. No life, my friends. We have very few birds, no bugs, and I don't have near the fish I did in my youth. My mouse is messing up. But I'm just going to show you a little bit of this. It's 14 minutes, a little bit too long. But all you got to do is look at my videos if you want to find it. It's one of the largest operations I've seen in a long time, though, yesterday. In the past, this past week has been unbelievable, truthfully. Wow, they are really spraying it today. I wonder what's up with the S-curves. I no longer recognize our sky. Look how many's over there. That is crazy. Let's see what we can walk. I come to a new park. I've commercial fished here my whole life, but I've never been to their park. Salt Springs. Chemtrails, standing by. Okay, that was yesterday there. This is 2 days earlier. I tried to go catch some fish, or let me see. Yeah, it says 2 days ago. Some of the heaviest chemtrailing we ever want to witness while we're out on the water. And the Fallout video is this same night here you're going to see next. It's only a minute and a half. We'll play this one. Out fishing today, not seeing any fish, but the aluminum wires in the sky is very prevalent. Having a front today, it seems to be the only time we see these lunatics. I wonder if they realize that they are breathing in that material as well, unless they're using oxygen tanks. Air toxicity among the airline pilots and stewardess is very real. I think there's around 9 or 10 lines out. Glare real bad, all I see is myself. But there's 4 more over there. See, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's one of the aircraft. High altitude geoengineering stratospheric aerosol injection. Can they make these phones where they don't reflect so much? Oh, there he is. Anyhow, it's kind of hard to zoom in. The glare is real bad. Quit spraying us, you lunatics. Very real. Nothing fake about it. Can't see. Standing by. And this video here is from that night. A buddy of mine in the center of Florida. Oh, I guess we're about 100 miles apart or so. He's like, bro, go outside, shine your light. It's unbelievable. And here's what I seen. We are breathing this material whether it's day or night, but our spotlights truly show the devastation of their material. No wonder there's no birds and no insects, and soon they will be no longer us. Good evening, freedom fighters.
Jet passing by here. See a couple stars. Boy, I wish I'd have took a video in Alaska. I didn't realize how good this thing picked up stars, but it's also picking up the incredible geoengineering stratospheric injection today. Look at the amount of stuff. This is not fog. It's very warm right now. We have no, I mean, it's moderate. It's like 70 degrees. We have no fog. It's not fog. That's what I'm getting at. There's no fog. I can see, oh, moth, holy cow. But chemical fallout from all the spraying today. Not fog. We're not having any fog. There's the moon. Wow. It is incredible fallout. They sprayed us today like I've never seen. Literally dozens and dozens of aircraft in the Gulf spraying at sunset on satellite. But geoengineering, chemtrail fallout, chemicals. What am I breathing? Is this why I'm in so much pain and everybody I know is in pain? What are we breathing? Wish I can get an air sample of that. That is not anything good. They have been spraying us all day. You can tell from my videos. Nightmare, my friends. Fucking nightmares. Sorry for the F-bomb. My heart is broken. I no longer recognize the people. Oh, a spider web on me. It's no fog. It's not fog. I can kind of still see spray and anyhow, standing by. Chemtrail fallout. We're being slowly poisoned. Wish I could touch that part. Oh, well, standing by. It's sickening.
Okay, my friends, I really didn't know what to show y'all here at the end, but I'm going to go back 100 years, 1960, actually a little bit more. Unbelievable studies with war and weather because of the material. Almost every Civil War battle had rain after because the massive amount of smoke that was released with these chemicals to burn off. Um, Lots of data, and somewhere in the United States said that we are no longer allowed private companies to provide rain, that we're going to do it. We're going to control the weather, is what they said, and that's what they did. Hope this is coming out clear. I can't really tell if it's loud enough for y'all, but here's the incredible story about Charles Hatfield. So it's documented. You can look it up on Google. His occupation is still rainmaker. This video that came from Sarah here, she completely removed it, and I wonder why. Something seems odd about my. Maybe I got it turned around. Yeah, maybe it was my headphones was turned around. I don't think y'all could hear me good there. Um, this is Charles Hatfield from 1916. I want to show you. His occupation is still on Google, is still occupation rainmaker. But in the 30s, I believe the United States said that no more private rainmakers, that the government was going to control the weather from then on. But anyhow, let's listen to Charles Hatfield. I really didn't know where to go from here. Hopefully y'all could hear me. I knew there was something going on, but I had went and helped my mom and put my headphones on backwards. Standing by. I hope you enjoy this. I'll let you go after the video. Thank you to everyone for your comments. They are truly the only reason I am making these videos is for y'all. It brings me great pain. to make this material, but it needs to be seen.
Did you know that the city of San Diego hired a rainmaker in 1915, and it actually worked? In fact, it worked a little too well. Hello, my name is Sarah, and welcome back to my channel, and let me tell you the story of this urban legend that is actually true. I came across this while looking into the reported hauntings of the Las Americas premium outlets in San Diego for a TikTok post. There's a link to my TikTok in the description. They say the outlets are haunted because of the 80 people who died at the site in 1916. So I was looking into that event and found this rainmaker at the bottom of the online research rabbit hole. It was interesting, so I thought I would make a video sharing the story. This rainmaker, named Charles Hatfield, was born in Kansas and came to San Diego as a child in the late 1800s. At that time, several scientists were trying to create rain by exploding hydrogen balloons into clouds. After the Civil War, Edward Powers, a general from the war, noticed that rain often followed battles. He even published a book about it and argued that the noise from the explosions of weapons agitated the moisture in the air, eventually leading to rain. And he wasn't alone in this belief. Even the ancient Greek writer Plutarch noticed that battles might create rain, and Napoleon tried to create rain with explosives as well. But Powers' book introduced the idea to a new generation of Americans struggling with drought, and although most scientists did not take it seriously, some government officials did. An Illinois senator proposed a bill to fund rainmaking research, and although it was shot down by the House, the Senate ended up getting it passed. And so $17,000, that's over $500,000 today, subsidized several inventors around the country in their efforts to create rain. Most of the experiments took place in the central states. Kansas saw a few notable rainmakers, such as Melbourne, the rain wizard. Melbourne's tactic was to create a gas on the ground that would then rise and agitate the air that way. He was once hired by a town in Kansas for $500, which is over $5,000 today, to end their drought. For days he tried, but no luck. The town eventually gave up on him and refused to pay him the money. However, a strong wind had been blowing his rain-making gases to Goodland, the next town over, and they did actually receive rain. They became avid supporters of Melbourne and his abilities. In Grand Island, Nebraska, he again claimed to have created rain, and again, just not at the intended location. According to Melbourne, he never shared his secret, but others claimed to know it. An entire group of people in Kansas formed a company around the idea, calling themselves the Interstate Artificial Rain Company. The government also ran tests in Texas. They too apparently created rain, but it was also displaced to a neighboring location by the wind. Nothing more than a light sprinkle came from some experiments, and in others, the rain had already been forecast. Parts of California also experienced drought conditions. Farmers were hiring water witches, and the Rain on Request company was offering its rainmaking services by ionizing the air. But in all of these places, whether Kansas, Texas, or California, all of these water production services were little more than cons, coincidental and unreliable. Now back to Charles Hatfield. He was originally a sewing machine salesman, but he became interested in rainmaking after hearing about some of these other experiments. He realized that dust storms were often followed by rain too, so he thought maybe shooting particles similar to dust in the air would help rain form. In 1903, at the age of 27, he set up his lab at the top of his father's windmill. The neighbors complained about the weird science he was doing, but his family said that he was just a kid trying to stop the drought and they should just let him be. One day, Hatfield sent a dark cloud of smoke up into the fog hanging over his family's ranch, and it did rain immediately after. He apparently successfully repeated the experiment in 16 out of 17 subsequent attempts at his family's ranch. Hatfield then turned professional and used these methods to create rain for Los Angeles for $50, over $1,500 today. Over the course of the next several years, he fulfilled 17 rainmaking contracts for everyone ranging from cotton farmers in Texas to miners in Alaska. In 1912 alone, he made $13,000 creating rain for various communities. That's worth almost $400,000 today. Now let's skip to the main event in 1915. This was the year of the Panama, California Exposition, an international event that had attracted millions of visitors over the span of the year. It was so successful that they expanded the exposition to last through 1916 as well, and they were expecting the same turnout of millions of people. However, some San Diego leaders were concerned about their water levels. The dams in the city were doing fine, but one of the dams in the countryside, in Morena, just outside the city, was running low, at only a third of its capacity. So they hired Charles Hatfield to make rain. They offered him $10,000, almost $300,000 today, if he could fill the reservoir in the next year. They figured why not let him try? Since they wouldn't pay him unless he did, they had nothing to lose. So December 1915, Hatfield built a 20-foot tower in the woods near the reservoir and set to work. People say that his tower resounded with faint explosions and filled the area with the odor of smelly cheese. And then on January 1st of 1916, New Year's Day, an explosion sent the first puff of smoke up into the atmosphere. A light drizzle followed almost immediately, but not really any rain. At least not until a few days later on January 5th, when it rained just a little at the reservoir. A few days after that, on January 10th, things took a turn. For a full day, it rained off and on in San Diego city limits. But in the countryside, it poured, and almost continually, for over a week. In the mountains, blizzards wreaked havoc. In the lowlands, storm drains flooded and roofs leaked. Some places saw as much as 18 inches of rain. The city of San Diego was thrilled with their own portion of rain until January 17th brought news of disasters in the countryside. The dry bed of the San Diego River had become flooded with torrents of water. It swept through the countryside, completely washing away homes, barns, ranches, historic missions, bridges, and even entire herds of cattle and other livestock. Several people were killed. South of the city was a community called the Little Landers, who were trying to build their own little utopian society, and the community was entirely washed away by the floods. A few days later, on January 20th, Charles Hatfield called San Diego City Hall. He said that the reservoir in Morena was almost filled to the brim and would be in a couple days, and that he would like his $10,000. Some newspapers at the time were claiming that he didn't actually cause the storm, but he argued that it had never naturally rained this much in the area, and it only continued to rain. The next day on January 21st, the Colorado River started to rise. The day after that, January 22nd, the river's levees broke and flooded the town of Yuma, Arizona, destroying 100 buildings. On January 23rd, the water levels began to rise in the Otay River in Chula Vista to the southeast of the city. On January 24th, the storm stopped, and the sun came out. The people of San Diego thought they might be in the clear. But on January 25th, the rain started again, with a vengeance. On January 26th, one of the reservoirs overflowed all protective barriers and washed away neighborhoods in the northern end of the city down to the concrete foundations. January 27th, the Otay Dam broke and completely flooded its valley. Absolutely nothing was left. No foundations and no survivors and no corpses were found in the floodwaters. They estimate 50 people died in that one flood burst alone. The National Weather Service has declared the 1916 flood the most destructive and deadly weather event San Diego has seen in all its history. The city estimated about $8 million in damages, which is about $200 million today. Locals took to calling it Hatfield's Flood. But despite everything, all of the death and damage and destruction, Hatfield still took credit for the storm. Even though there were rumors that lynch mobs were looking for him in the days following the floods, he went to City Hall in San Diego and asked for his $10,000. The Moreno Reservoir was certainly filled. However, the city refused to pay him. They claimed that they had only made a verbal agreement and that since there was no official contract, they owed Hatfield nothing. Hatfield then sued them, adding that he would be happy with the money as a settlement. The city replied that they would be willing to give him the $10,000, but only if he took legal responsibility for the damages of the flood as well. Hatfield turned down the offer. Of course he did, since responsibility for the $8 million in damages was not worth the $10,000 in payment, and he eventually dropped the issue entirely. There was still the question, however, as to whether or not Hatfield had in fact been responsible for the rainfall. Individuals sued the city over the damages and hardship, claiming that since the city had hired Hatfield, they were thus responsible. But the courts ruled that the storm had been an act of God, and Hatfield was just a coincidence. After all, although the rain had come in unprecedented amounts, January was the rainiest part of the year for the area. But while many doubted Hatfield's connection to the storm, many also believed him. He got a lot of job offers, but he did not accept any new jobs for several years, until 1922, instead taking some time to further his experiments and figure out what had gone wrong to create the flood, and refine his methods. On January 31st, 1922, he tried again to create rain in the Mojave Desert. They say 240 inches of rain fell in just 30 minutes. The desert flooded, Sand Canyon north of LA was flooded, and the LA aqueduct was almost destroyed. After this new disaster, Hatfield declared that he was retiring and would not meddle with natural forces like that again. But again, he was still offered contracts to create rain for many years. He did take up one offer, however, when a banana company based out of New Orleans asked for his services to put out a raging fire on their banana plantations in Honduras. Rain fell and put out the fires 3 days after Hatfield arrived and started his work there. But after that, he completely retired, and he died decades later in 1958. And so that's the story of Charles Hatfield the Rainmaker and of his San Diego flood of 1916. The urban legend of San Diego hiring a rainmaker is true, but the legend that the rainmaker actually created rain and floods, I'll leave that one up for you to decide if that's true. As I said, I found this story through researching a San Diego haunting for a TikTok post. If you want to hear more about that and other places haunted by the victims of this flood, you can check out my TikTok. It's linked in the description. And now
I wonder why she erased it. I tried to go back and find it, but it's gone. Charles Hatfield, Rainmaker. Like I said, when you Google his name today, it's still occupation Rainmaker. December 1st, it was an incredible operation over Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. Incredible what they're getting away, and not to forget to mention Tennessee. I can see individual different operations there, like these section and that section's different aircraft. How many would it take? How many aircraft would it take to do this many lines at one time? This is all individual aircraft. Oh my goodness, the lies that people have been told. Every news broadcaster should be arrested for crimes against humanity and the American people. Every weatherman. Look at the energy waves. These lines doesn't go anywhere. This is all the machine. All these satellites going up every day. All the ground-based machines. They can push this material anywhere they want. The aluminum wires in the sky. Thank you for everyone. Your comments, like I said, are the only reason I'm doing this. And I got to show somebody the evils that I see. We're in trouble. We're going to lose all of our American made products like our food that I want to eat. I don't eat third world country foods. I don't eat their seafood. I don't eat their meat. I don't eat their vegetables if it's not here from America. When I look at the thing, I do not buy it. And that's where we made a mistake to start with. We started buying these products. We're barely even going to get any cold weather this year, which I need for my fisheries. Massive machine waves, not natural. I've seen an unbelievable event with these waves in Australia. I still looked there too. But you can really see how the weather passes through their machine. Did y'all see that? Watch. All the waves are there. Watch this. That's too fast. Let's go by minute. Everything that passes through the machine waves. Global control. It's in God's hands now, my friends. I was talking to one of my helpers, I got one that's on the fence and one that completely believes in the Lord. But I was like, in the 1970s, everybody believed in the Lord. I was like, the only reason they pushed Lord out of our heart, our gods, whatever name you give God, it's all the same God. They just try to separate us. But and don't think they won't rewrite our Bibles, and they have. I've seen ancient Bibles, and they're different than the ones you can buy today. But the reason they pushed it out of everybody's hearts, and they are pushing the devil upon us is because we cannot do all this evil stuff to each other if we had God in our hearts. Love thy neighbor. What is so horrible about that? Loving people. I'll never understand. Our entire planet is clouded over. Our clock is ticking. We ran out of time a long time ago, but we're already dead and we just don't know it yet. Commercial fishermen standing by. Hope you understand why I make these videos. I just want to show someone the incredible evils that I see. They are clouding out our planet with aircraft. This has been an ongoing on for days. This has been going on. Heavy trailing the day yesterday morning, and ships sprayed right on through the night. Commercial fishermen standing by. Hug your loved ones while you can. Commercial fishermen out.